Have you seen this character? Chances are that you have, thanks to the release of Metroid Dread. This is Samus, the star of the Metroid games. One of the most defining moments in gaming history came in 1986 with the release of Metroid. This year, the Metroid franchise is celebrating its 35th year anniversary along with the release of its newest mainline game, Metroid Dread, or Metroid 5 for those in the know. Regardless if you're new to the franchise or have been with it since the beginning, now's a great time to be a Metroid fan. So today I will attempt to take you all back to the past, before my own time even, to look at the game that started it all. This is a look into the mysterious, stressful and magnificent Metroid for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Oh, and if you like what you see in the coming minutes, consider supporting me here on YouTube by subscribing and leaving a like. Thanks! Brief history. Metroid began its life as a game with a mission to, quote, make something that had what Super Mario Bros. Didn't have. Carefully analyzing parts of Super Mario Bros. And then doing everything possible to be different, such as stopping the player's movement instantly instead of sliding a bit, making the focus not to avoid enemies, rather to destroy them. And most notably, one of the first ways to attack that was planned even before the development started was the famous screw attack. Even something as simple as moving left in a 2D side-scroller was seen as revolutionary. For its first 9 or almost 10 months, there were only 2 people working on the game. Only for the last 3 months did the game get a significant boost in development, thanks to Nintendo Research and Development Department 1 joining the existing 2 developers. Holy hell, imagine that. Anyway, this was also when the now known Sears producer Yoshio Sakamoto joined the team. He is responsible for all of these great games. Oh, and this one too, but we don't talk a lot about this one for health-related reasons. Ooh. This title screen, man, there's something about its simplicity that just gets me. The pure black night sky along with the stars and the wasteland that stretches as far as the eye can see. It paints a good vibe for the game and its visuals. What brings the whole experience up is the music. What starts as an intense and dark theme of mysteriousness later evolves into a slightly more heroic and sentimental tune, representing both sides of the spectrum of life, darkness and evil, or better yet, the space pirates against a heroic justice in Samus. The story then is represented in the game with this little bit of dialogue here. So not much to go on. Instead we need to look at the instruction manual for a clearer picture. Essentially, in the year 2000 of the history of the cosmos, the Galactic Federation is established, bringing peace and trade to the Allied powers. However, after an uprising by the so-called space pirates, the Galactic Federation Police is established. However, they essentially sucked so hard, so they needed to hire great warriors that became known as the Space Hunters, or well, Bounty Hunters. In the year 20x5 then, a research ship among the cosmos doing research on a mysterious life form was stolen by the space pirates. This lifeform was said to be extremely dangerous and a potential threat to all life. As a last resort, the Federation hires famed Samus Aran to destroy the leader of the space pirates, Mother Brain. He is the greatest of all the space hunters. Eh? He? Common knowledge today is that Samus Aran is a woman. You see, back then it was very uncommon for women to be seen in the leading role for these kinds of games. It stated the decision to make Samus a woman was more of a way to give players a nice surprise and a reward for completing the game fast enough. The fact that Samus is a woman was seen as a very clear message to the gaming community and well, the world at the same time. Women are equal to men and can do just as well as men. Samus gained immense respect and recognition for this fact alone. So yeah, sorry for the wait. This is the original Metroid. Well, ain't this iconic? Metroid is a 2D action platformer adventure game, a combination of the Mario gameplay and Zelda formula in a sense. And this little sprite right here is Samus herself. Impressive, I know. At the start of the game, you really don't have anything except for this dinky little gun. And hoo boy, this range is pitiful. Luckily, everyone knows what to do after this. Head left, get the Maru Mari. Oh what, you don't know what that is? Ah, please check the manual for once. And hey, after that it's pretty much go time. Head on over to the right and begin exploring. Now the first obstacle in your path is these enemies on the floor. You can't do anything at all to hurt them at the moment, since you can't bomb them or shoot downwards. the only option is to painfully wait until they climb up on a wall or a ceiling. Either way, the main goal as stated is to defeat Mother Brain in Turian. To get there, you have to defeat the two bosses of the game, Ridley and Kraid. Two officers of the space pirates, I suppose. I mean, hey, Ridley later on in the games gains the status of space pirate leader anyway. Quickly you'll find yourself lost in these very similar looking rooms. Luckily there's a map, right? Well, not in the game, but the manual comes to the rescue once again. Here's the map of Zebes. Well, it ain't much, but it at least gives a brief overview of the structure of the game. This is the sort of game you were expected to draw your own map to complete. Seeing as it's 2021, just looking up a map on Google is the preferred way to deal with this. In no time you'll be jumping around, blasting enemies and finding upgrades left and right. Among these are the series mainstays like missiles, bombs, screw attack, varia suit, ice beam, wave beam and long beam. Hey, it helps with the bad reach. Either way, this game is a little stingy when it comes to enemies and damage. It's definitely the hardest in the beginning. That means anything before getting the varia suit, that in this game just increases defense. The best item in the game is without a doubt the screw attack. Essentially, once you get this item, the game becomes a lot easier to get through. With a little jump, you can annihilate almost all enemies in the game by touching them even a bit. Aside from this, the game is still hard when it comes to enemy behavior, map design, damage knockback, and some BS design when it comes to the actual game. First of all, holy shit, these guys are a mess for first timers. I don't even know their names, nor do I care. Especially when one's randomly thrown into a corridor like this. Then there's rooms like these where there's so much going on. So if you're not familiar with the game, it can whittle away your hard-earned health in seconds. Then there's the layout of the place. Some areas are straight up useless and nothing but endless corridors that are there to waste time. Especially I remember this one here in Kraidslayer being awful. All the amazing tunes in the world cannot save trash map layouts. See this? This was me taking damage in a room transition. Now I don't know if this is a bug or a thing that was supposed to happen, but whatever the case, it's true BS. I've even died a couple of times because of running around on low health and then thinking I've escaped the enemies of the room only to be killed either in a room transition or when just entering a room. I don't mean for all of this to sound so overly negative, but it has to be said that the game hasn't aged that well in these aspects. And well, they weren't any good even at the time of release. If you've played any Metroidvania type of game in your life, then know it had its roots in this game right here. That is to say, while this game is hard and unfair sometimes, it still manages to bring forth the feeling of growth through exploration. It rewards players for being brave and venturing into mostly new areas with plenty of power-ups and sometimes cleverly hidden secrets. Seeing as this was the first of its kind, I'll give it some slack for not perfecting the formula yet. But hey, that's what sequels are for. To finish this off, let's talk about the worst part of the game by a mile, the final boss. Just before getting to Mother Brain, traveling through Turian will have you encounter the Metroids. And well, they don't do a whole lot other than spawn in a cool way, as well as suck your energy unless you bomb them. Now the only way to beat the Metroids is to freeze them with the ice beam, so make sure you get that instead if you still have the wave beam equipped. Then after being frozen, just pump their sorry head full of missiles. There's not much more to it. That's really the only thing they do in this game. Now, on to the main bad thing. While the encounter with the Mother Brain might sound intriguing and might make you hype, I'm warning you right now. The so-called fight against Mother Brain is one of, if not the worst, most amateurish designed part of any game I've ever seen. What you're looking at right now is footage of my session recording for this video. It's well over an hour long, but the footage of me trying it once again to beat Mother Brain is over 45 minutes long. Why? Well, it's like this. Your fight with Mother Brain is set up with Samus having to make her way through this long corridor filled with random hurting circles spawning out of nowhere and turrets shooting at Samus. Doing this while having to shoot down these barriers that, and listen closely, can only be harmed with missiles and regenerate health if you're not fast enough. Of course, there's a certain timing to avoid some of the things in this room, but generally it comes down to just tanking hits and hoping for the best. Doing all of this while trying to stay on these platforms, or out of what I guess to be lava from the knockback, is insane. So eventually you make your way up to Mother Brain, Great, then it's just a matter of spamming missiles. You need a total of 33 missiles to hit Mother Brain to kill her. Or well, it. Whatever. Doing all of this while dodging the circles and turrets. Now good luck doing that on this tiny platform or on the platform over here. When you eventually get hit, and you will, don't lie, you might fall in this pool of lava right here from the knockback. At that point it might as well be over. Only through sheer luck have I made it back out of this pit. But most of the time you get hit so many times in the air you just end up back in the lava. You can imagine how frustrating this all becomes after a while. Especially since I haven't mentioned one hyper important thing yet. When you die in Metroid, you do not respawn with full HP. You do not even respawn with a full energy tank. Instead, you respawn with a tiny-ass 30 HP. Then you might ask yourself, well damn, where can I recharge my HP? Simple answer is, you have to grind. And grind a lot, mind you, since the enemies sometimes never drop HP or missiles. Grinding from 0 to full capacity can take upwards to 15 minutes, and you're expected to do that each and every time you die. Man, that's just crazy. I luckily played this on my NES Classic, so I just saved it with full health. Cause dude, I have stuff to do. I don't have time to waste my time grinding for no good reason like this. If you beat it on original hardware, I applaud you, but man, I feel bad for you. Either way, when you finally beat Mother Brain after all of your hard work, man, does it feel good. This is the now famous Metroid escape sequence, a simple but effective way to end the game. Make your way up this shaft and escape before the planet blows up. All in a generous timer, I'd say. Great, you fulfilled your mission. It will revive peace in space. Okay? But it may be invaded by the other Metroid. Pray for a true peace in space. Yeah, I think you can tell this was translated in the late 80s. It's here you'll notice that depending on how fast you beat the game, you get a different ending. Every single one of these endings revealed more of Samus's body the faster you were. It was how players learned that they were playing as a woman instead of a man. Oh damn, they really went all in. And that's it. Escape done. Nice. Ta-da. Mission complete. See you next mission, as now is tradition to say in the Metroid community. Metroid for the NES was a groundbreaking game. This was the first step to a whole new genre of games. And while the first game wasn't perfect and hasn't aged perfectly, it still deserves respect for what it did. Should you play this today then? The short answer is no. Or well, if you want to get into Metroid, if anything, you should start with Metroid Zero Mission, the remake of this game for the GBA, available on the Wii U and well, every PC ever thanks to emulation, I guess, but I strongly encourage you to all support the franchise directly. I like the original Metroid, but it's not something I revisit that often. I more or less play to reflect on today's games. Oh, and Metroid is totally inspired by the Alien movies. Thanks so much for watching. I can't thank you enough. I try my best to make these videos interesting and something to learn from. Having you watch the entire thing means the world to me. So thanks again and have a good one.